We also had in all our schools, or we still have in all our schools, what we refer to as a character development program. And this program started many, many years ago when I was in the York Region District School Board. Some of you may have visited that school district. It's really one of the most progressive districts in Canada. At that time, it was in the 90s, as a response to all the violence that we had in school and problems that we had around bullying, we decided to implement a program in that school district which would bring the community together in order to identify the attributes which we wanted to include in our programs. And at the time it was very difficult when I put that proposal forward, because the trustees said to us, well, the Education Act doesn't say we can teach character. But to my mind, something was needed, because many years before that, all the values education was removed from the school because of lack of support in the community. So it was very difficult to get anyone to want to touch anything that sort of resembled character values education. But we were able to get the trustees to agree for us to bring together about 250 members of our community from all walks of life, and they were most supportive. They wanted us to focus on those aspects that would address issues of behavior and discipline in the schools. And I hope many of you will read about that program within our district on the web. What I would like to say is, in all of my career in education, it's probably one of the most exciting initiatives we had, because students and teachers and principals were all very supportive of the fact that they could then include in their curriculum those attributes which parents and community members supported. They were attributes such as respect, responsibility, honesty, integrity, empathy, fairness, perseverance, initiative, courage, optimism. They are the kind of qualities that employers say they want to see in the graduates of our schools. And what we did then was not a separate curriculum for these areas, but to make sure that we had teachers write about some of the strategies that any teacher could use to infuse these suggestions into their academic classrooms. So we brought teachers in during the summer to look at the existing Ontario curriculum to see, how do you teach respect? How do you teach responsibility? How do you teach honesty, regardless of the subject that you are teaching? The schools that adopted character development programs found that behavioral problems decreased. Student achievement went up in those schools. Why? Because teachers felt that they were spending less time on discipline and more time on teaching. And what happened as well, many parents who had taken their children out of the school system and had sent them to private schools were now bringing them back, because they felt that we were focusing both on academics and on character building. It helped teachers to also be satisfied with the fact that we were not only focusing on literacy and numeracy, though that was never the case. We have never abandoned the arts or physical and health education or history or social studies. We have never abandoned those. But because of the Literacy and Numeracy Secretariat and the push of the government in this area and the testing, people very often were critical of the fact that we were only focusing on literacy and numeracy. But when character development was brought as a part of that program, we found that people now felt we were being true to what we had said about holistic education, educating the whole person, educating not only the heads, but also the hearts of our students. So I'd say throughout my career, the thing that has had one of the greatest impacts on our schools has been the infusion of character development initiatives within the community, within the curriculum, and one that was supported by parents, and one that in which student leadership really was called upon. The students played a key role in their schools to implement their values and their beliefs through community involvement initiatives, through demonstrating their concerns not only for others within their local communities, but internationally as well. I believe that contributed to the initiatives around citizenship development, because we were therefore preparing students with the life skills that were necessary for them to be productive and self-sustaining members of our society.